Hi everybody, welcome back to Pandemic Cooking. Welcome to our risotto video. Now, this was kind of like a last minute idea because me and Ms. N were talking about how she's never really made risotto, and I thought, well, I'll teach you my method and maybe you will make this at home. So there's a few ingredients that I use making risotto. I use mushrooms, and I don't have a shallot because I didn't feel like going to the store and risking it for a shallot. So I'm just gonna use half of an onion, garlic, I have the rice, some cheese.
And what kind of rice?
Oh, I'm gonna talk to you about this. This is called arborio rice. It comes in a package like this. You have to get this rice. I remember I was in Calgary and I went to a restaurant and I ordered the risotto and it was like jasmine rice. I'm like, So let's talk about where risotto comes from. Risotto comes from Italy, but Northern Italy. So Southern Italy, we associate with pizza, pasta, right? All that kind of like hearty, but really inexpensive to make food. Northern Italy is a little bit more bougie because if you kind of wrap around the Mediterranean, we go Greece and then to the Middle East. So rice kind of made its way over to Italy via the Middle East. So that's why rice is part of Italian cooking. Arborio rice is meant to be cooked differently. It's meant to be cooked slowly and gradually to get a creamy texture. So I'll talk about that when we get it on the pan. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to heat up. I'm gonna melt some butter in the pan and I'm gonna mix a little bit of olive oil into it, okay? Now the reason why I'm going to do this is for a couple reasons. I want the butter because of the flavor. I'm just gonna get it on low heat for right now. I want the butter because of the flavor, but I am going to mix some olive oil in there to increase the burning point of butter. So what's great about butter is that it tastes really good, but it burns, okay? What I'm doing by adding some olive oil is increasing the point in which it burns. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit more time, okay? I'm gonna leave the mushrooms for a second. I'm gonna show you a trick that I learned from shout out to my cousin Hillary. I'm gonna show you a little trick that I learned and I love it. So I'm gonna oh, look at that sharp knife, just kidding. Ooh, I'm gonna cut the ends off my onion. Cut it in half. Just put half over to the side here. We'll use that for something else. Get the skin off. If I have any kind of brown on the skin, I'm gonna peel one more layer. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my knife through. If I had a shallot, I would be doing kind of like little strips, but a shallot is quite a bit smaller. Run my knife through, do a quick little dice. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're gonna be adding mushrooms and what else are we adding? Cheese, onions, garlic. And the rice. So we're gonna have a little bit of texture, okay? So I'm gonna let my pan heat up a little bit while I mince my garlic. Do it quick. Now she's peeling. Is this a different bulb?
Yeah,
it just needed
definitely.
Is it? Oh,
It has to be a different
remember that? It has to be, or it's just gotten a bit older and they're way easier to peel. I'm gonna show you a little trick that I learned at a course that I just took. But I don't love doing it yet. If you wanted to, you could crush the garlic with the tip of your knife and just kind of drag. I still am not like totally convinced. I don't
love doing that.
I don't love it. I don't know, but it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, you know? You want to pan over to our dough just to give, if you're gonna watch the bread dough, look at that.
We're also in the process of filming a bread tutorial and our dough is rising.
It looks so good.
Smells quite yeasty in here.
It's gonna smell garlicky. All right, so I've got my minced garlic and my onions. I am gonna add them to the pan at once, but I want the pan to be a little bit warmer. So what I'm going to show you, I'm just gonna move that around a little bit. And turn it up a bit because I do want to sizzle when I hit it. So I'm on about a 4. Okay, this is the trick with the mushrooms. So I'm pan up for a hot second. You are gonna judge me and I'm okay with that. I do not like washing mushrooms. I know
I don't either.
They're fungus. Why?
I don't.
Because they get slimy.
They get slimy.
It is totally off-putting to me. So
yeah.
I'm gonna show you a trick. So we are gonna peel the mushroom. Do you know this trick?
Nope.
Oh.
I just eat them dirty.
And you know what? You're fine.
And look at me. I'm never sick.
Thriving.
I'm never sick.
Okay, pop off.
I shouldn't say that though at this time because I probably just jinxed myself.
Touch wood. Pop off the stem, reach in, and give a peel. So if you've got some like dusty looking mushrooms and you're like, oh, I'm lazy or whatever. Well, this takes work.
But, see, they don't always peel. But you can peel the skin off of the mushroom. Yeah, and it actually, like, they're less liquidy. They cook that, in my opinion. That's what Hillary told me. Auntie Sandy, my aunt, her mom, reckons that they taste better when they're peeled. So, you know what? Auntie Sandy's a great cook, so I'm going with it. Did you know the peeling of the onions? Now, we already did mushrooms. Oh, you mushrooms, thank you. I am being wasteful because you can chop up and eat the stem. But you know what? This is where I am on my journey. I don't care. I don't care, right? Like, mushrooms grow like crazy. It's mushroom season. The Ukrainian in me doesn't feel bad about this. Isn't it great? And then look at how beautiful and clean they look. Like that. Right? Do you feel great about this? Yeah. They're just so white. Yeah, and then you like, are super white mushrooms peel at the grocery store? No. No, these are button mushrooms, right? So these are the super white ones.
Okay, sizzle, I gotta sizzle. Yes, I'm gonna add my garlic, my onions. Get it cooking.
Hear that?
Hear it, smells delish. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay.
The Ukrainian in me loves a good sauteed onion.
Yes.
I don't love onions. I just like the smell.
You just love the
cooking.
saute. Now, if you'll pan over here, I've got 2 liquids ready to go. I've got a chicken stock, it's nice and hot, and I've got white wine. Now, this is cooking white wine, and there's a couple differences here. So if you get a cooking one from the grocery store, it is going to be quite salty. It still has alcohol content in it. But remember that when you are cooking any sort of alcohol, the alcohol is gonna cook off and you're left with the flavor. So I do have quite a bit here. At home, if you have like, if your parents crack open a bottle of wine and you have some left over, that's what I would use. So that's what I use for cooking at home because it's cheaper. It's cheaper for me to go to the liquor store and get like the cheapest white wine than it is cooking wine.
Don't go to the liquor store.
True, I never go.
Like we never go.
But when I do, it is simply hundo P
For cooking.
for cooking. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna let those sizzle, wake those onions up and the garlic up a little bit. Smells really beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because these are kind of big boys, I'm gonna just cut them.
And then run my knife through, so I've got these little half pieces. If you've got a smaller mushroom, no need to cut it in half, okay? But especially this big guy, like, that's a big piece of onion. This is how, if I were, pardon me, mushroom, I keep calling them onions. If I were like making some sauteed mushrooms over a steak, to put over a steak, do you do that? Do you like that? No. What? Or like over a mushroom burger? Oh, yeah, like that. Yeah! I was going to put mushrooms on a steak, but I don't get it right. Well, I'm serious. Listen, I don't ever really cook bacon. We have it at Andrew's parents' house, and they cook it. Sorry, Jackie, you're watching this. But Jackie, we love you. She cooks her mushrooms in cannoli, soy sauce. Oh, it's not, it's a little awkward. I only want cannoli, though. It's a thing. Okay, I see some
Garlic starting to get golden here, but I am liking the color of the onions. Smells really beautiful. You want that like translucent color in those onions, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the mushrooms in all at once. Here's what I find with mushroom cooking. So many people tell me they don't like mushrooms, they're too soggy. Mr. Dawson, I'm talking to you right now. In my opinion, you've done it wrong. So my mom, Jan, love you. Her mushrooms, she has this huge pan. She puts in like quadruple the amount of mushrooms I put in. And Julia Child said, don't crowd the mushrooms. So if you put too many in your pan, they're not going to crisp up. So mushrooms are very, very liquidy, thank you. They're very, very liquidy. And what I want to get all that liquid out. I want to cook it off, almost reduce them and get them crispy, okay? So
see, I will overcrowd my pan.
Will you?
But then I just drain the water out as I get it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna cook it off. Okay, but I love a crispy mushroom. So now what I'm gonna do a little pepper, little salt. Where is it? I thought I was prepared. Every time. Gonna do a little bit of salt here. Now what I'm gonna do, as the mushrooms have absorbed the fat from the butter and the oil.
As you can see, there's none left.
Okay, there's none left. I am going to hit it. Oh, listen to this. With some white wine. This is when the smell, like, oh, I know something good is happening. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to reduce the bejesus out of these. So the reason why risotto kind of has a bad reputation in terms of being difficult to make is from my boyfriend, Chef Gordon Ramsay, who's obviously my favorite celebrity chef. And he would always on Hell's Kitchen or Kitchen Nightmares or whatever, his chefs make risotto. The reason why he would do this is because you need to pay attention to it. So you have to, once it's on, that's it. I'm gonna be standing here probably for about half an hour but it's not hard. It's just a little bit tedious. Now what you can see is that the fat is coming back out of the mushrooms. Can you see that? So you have to keep going. So we've got this liquid here, and I can tell that it's not the wine because it's not cloudy. Like that looks like fat to me. And what I'm doing is I've spread out the mushrooms, and I'm gonna come back in a couple minutes and show you what they should look like. Okay, welcome back. You can see this color that I'm getting on these mushrooms here. This is exactly what I'm looking for, but now we are playing with fire because we don't want the garlic to burn. So I'm gonna keep an eye, I'm gonna let it cook. I'm going to flip them around, and that one just flipped by. This is what I'm looking for right here. Yes. Okay, so I want that really crispy, but not burnt. You can kind of smell, right, that it's getting a little bit crispy. It's exactly what I want, okay? So that's gonna add a really, really nice flavor. I'm just gonna finish this off. So all of the mushrooms, or the majority of the mushrooms have that color, and then I'll hit you back in a minute, okay? Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna take it off. Make sure that's not burning hot. I'm gonna put these in a bowl. I'm gonna try and keep some of that fat as best I can. If I have a little bit of, pieces of onion or garlic, that's fine, okay? I'm gonna keep those in the bowl. This is going back on the heat. I am going to put another couple tablespoons of butter in. Before that burns, I'm gonna add another couple glugs of, do you see how it just like protects it a little bit? Of olive oil. Spin it around. I'm so excited. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Ms. N just told me she liked a shrimp risotto. I thought she was saying a shroom risotto. And I'm like, yeah, like what we're making. Shroom. I thought you were saying like mushroom risotto.
Oh.
That's why I was so confused.
Well, I was confused that you weren't picking up on the fact that I was saying shrimp because you call them bottom feeders.
They are bottom feeders. Okay. Now I've got my arborio rice. I'm going to add it to the butter. I've got a couple cups here. What I'm going to do is I am going to coat it in the fat, okay? Before I add any of the liquid. I am going to start with chicken broth. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add about half a cup of chicken broth, and you want your pan hot enough that it's gonna sizzle. Now the reason why we cook risotto like this instead of like a different type of rice or, like in the pot, double the water, blah, 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 is because the grain of our arborio rice is different. It's very, very starchy. You notice we didn't rinse this rice. And by cooking it slowly and gradually like this, what's gonna happen? Can you come into the pan here, Ms. N? You can see the starch granules. Like if I put them on the side of the pan here, do you see that? You can see the starch granules starting to kind of swell, and that's gonna give a really beautiful creamy texture. A little bit of the white cooking wine. Now, some would say that I probably use a little too much cooking wine in this and not enough chicken broth. And I say, thank you so much for your opinion, and you're welcome.
Oh, that might get a copyright violation.
Oh my God, will it?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe.
Like, why are there so many barriers?
Yeah, YouTube, do you think we're actually going to be making money off these videos?
No, you bet not. Just my paycheck. Okay. Okay, now all of the liquid is gone. I'm gonna be easy on adding this cooking wine, to be honest with you. Like, I would add more regular wine. And the reason why is because this is very, very salty. So I'm just gonna be a little bit easy on it, okay? I don't know how much of this liquid I'm going to use. I think we added about 2 cups of rice. But can you see that? Does this make sense, the starch? Like, it looks really starchy, okay? That's exactly what we're looking for, and that's what's gonna give us that really gorgeous texture that is like mouth-watering of risotto, okay? Don't get too overzealous. Don't be like, all right, I'm ready for the next. See this liquid pooling up here? She's gotta go. So just so you know, I had about 3 cups of white wine at the beginning, and we added some to the mushrooms. And I have 8 cups of chicken broth, and I'm probably not going to use it all. All right, this is why Chef Ramsay makes people do this, is because what I want to do is grate the rest of my cheese, and I cannot. I have to stand here, because if I let it go, it's going to burn. And I want to keep mixing that starch into the risotto and keep cooking it. Sorry, we got overzealous. Ms. N is gonna come grate the cheese in just a hot second, but I wanna tell you what kind of cheese we're using before we do it. We're using Parmigiano Reggiano. This is, you buy it in a big block. It's very aged. This is the outside of it. They make it in a wheel.
You're not using Kraft Parmesan?
Shut up. You know I love a Kraft. You know I love a Kraft Parmesan. I love a Kraft single. I love a Velveeta. I like garbage cheese. However, for my risotto, it's got to be freshly grated Parm. I have some grated here. I'll show you in a minute, okay? So we're gonna finish grating that and we'll be back. Since we've been gone, I've added a few more additions of the white wine and the chicken broth. What I did not do though is I didn't add salt and pepper. So I'm gonna add probably about a teaspoon of salt, a little shaky shake of pepper, because remember that rice needs a little bit of flavor. And when there's no liquid left, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock, about half a cup at a time. Rana! I think I'm okay. It's just the pepper. Okay. And grade 10s, 11s, 12s, the rest of the world, I'm gonna keep doing this until it's done. How do I know when it's done? I'm gonna taste it, okay? So we are looking for al dente, like we would a noodle, and this takes quite a bit longer than pasta. Like this is probably gonna be 25 minutes of doing this, okay? So we'll come back when it's almost done. Okay everyone, welcome back. So we've been here for probably about 10-15 minutes. You can really see that the rice is swelled. I've got my heat still on medium-high heat. And you can see, right? You can see the like starch there. That's what gives risotto a creamy texture. So how I'm gonna tell that this is done is I'm gonna taste it. So I've got a tasting spoon ready to go. I'm gonna grab a couple grains of rice. It's so good. It's so good. It's still a little bit chewy. So I'm gonna give it, but remember you want it al dente, but you don't want it crunchy. I'm gonna give it another about half a cup of the chicken stock there. Every time I do that, I splatter Ms. N. I just gotta be careful. Now the pot is getting full, or the frying pan here. I am gonna increase the heat a little bit to almost, I wanna say almost a high heat. I really want it bubbling. I want that liquid cooking off. I added, while we were gone, I added some salted pepper, but I am being very light on it. And the reason why is because this is what the parm looks like once it's grated. Pardon me. We are going to be adding this. This is very, very salty cheese. So we are going to make sure that we're not over salting the risotto and we've got these things to add. So after I add those, I'm going to check the flavor. And at that point, I'm going to decide if it needs some flavoring. So we'll come back when this is all cooked off and we'll finish it off. Okay, we're back. So if you come pan in on this risotto here, it's looking cooked, it's looking swollen, it's looking like she's good. I've done a couple tastings. It's still a little bit al dente, but I'm okay with that. So, and the reason why is because we're still gonna cook it for another couple minutes, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna finish this off. We've got our mushrooms, onion, garlic mixture from earlier with a little bit of oil in there, and I'm gonna get that oil back in here, and hopefully we'll cook into, or it will cook into the risotto, help finish it off. That's what I was getting at. I've turned my heat down, so I'm no longer like burning. And now I'm just gonna actually add this gradually and go from there. So I'm gonna add a handful, about a half a cup of the grated Parmesan. Another little bit here. And then we can use that leftover to garnish it if we want, if we feel like we want more Parmesan. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to grab another tasting utensil. You're just going to melt that Parmesan in. Some people add cream to the risotto. I was told that's a big no-no because if you've spent the time, you're gonna get that creamy texture anyway. So I'm gonna have one last final taste with a little mushroom there. I'm happy with that. I don't need any salt and pepper. That Parmesan added a really, really beautiful taste. Risotto is best served fresh. So if you're having dinner or whatever, or maybe this is your dinner, if you wanted to add a protein with it, Ms. N is not wrong, a skewer of shrimp or maybe a side of chicken or something like that would be good. I wouldn't go too crazy with it though. I'd keep the protein really light because this is a very heavy dish. But I hope you enjoyed a risotto, and I hope that you make it. If you did, let me know in the comments. Also, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I don't know where it is. Subscribe to us. Let us know how you do, and happy pandemic cooking, everyone. Bye.